Hello guys and welcome back, Merlin here. And today we're going to be once again diving into the Unbeatable Druid, that quest for the perfect Druid deck. Now there's a lot of metas floating around, and I have decided to kind of homebrew a deck. Now as you've seen the first video, which will be linked in the description below, it didn't go so well. So today we're going to be using another deck. I've modified it. I've basically taken it down to the same concept as the deck before. I'm using the treants. So we're gonna get rid of all these cards. Before that, as you can see, I'm using the Mulchmuncher. So there's gonna be a lot of cards in this deck that produce treants to make him as cheap as possible. I'm aiming for a 0 cost. But as to whether or not I'll get there before completely obliterating my opponent, that is the question. Okay, so I'll end my turn. Now for our opening hand, we've got the Serpent Egg, Landscaping, Mark of the Wild, and Swipe. Okay, so here we're going to go more for, I guess, the Serpent Eggs effect. Now, a lot of the cards in this deck do also produce other creatures when played, like Serpent's Egg, Power of the Wild can either give me a minion or pump another minion. And the goal right now would be to make this thing a big a threat as possible for him to kill it off. Like if I gave it +2/+2 and taunt, he'd have no choice but to go after it. But then I'd be making a 2/5 just to get a 3/4. So, kind of iffy at this point. So first we're going to summon our treants. And the turn. Now we have 2 threats on the board. We have 2/2/2s. Say that 10 times fast. And then we have the Serpent Egg. So, right now we're just going to kind of pump, if we can pump these guys. Otherwise we're going to spend mana to start giving myself some armor, so as that I don't take as much damage when she swings through, because I don't have anything with a taunt yet. Not that I couldn't make one. But right now my effort is focused into creating fodder for my Mulchmuncher. Now the other concept of this deck was cards in hand. Since last game with this deck, I had a lot of cards in hand. That was before I modified it. I decided to play some cards that affected the game based on what I had in hand. Like Ferocious Howl gives me armor based on the number of cards in my hand times, 1. So 6 cards, 6 armor. And let's see. Right now we have a treant who's going to get squished. We are... Let's see here. Actually, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to trade a treant for his Defias leader there. Where is it? Yep, Defias Ringleader. Kind of with this deck, I'm happy to trade minions, because that usually means I'm getting towards my goal if I'm trading, say, treants. Because now I've had 2 treants killed, which means now my Mulchmuncher is 2 treants cheaper. Let's see. We are going to Mark of the Wild this guy, which means he's going to have to swing at it. And then we're going to get a 4/2 into play and pass the turn. I'm not going to trade these two because he'd have a creature and I would have lost my Druid of the Scythe. Right now, my whole goal is for him to go after the Serpent Egg, which now he has to, because it has Taunt, which will trade it into a 3/4 Serpent. And on my next turn, we'll be dropping the Hidden Oasis, which will give me a 6/6 Ancient with Taunt. Or I could hold on to it and give myself 12 health at a later date. I mean, there was a lot of concepts into this deck. I spent most of the day trying to kind of decide, did I want to build this deck, you know, kind of keep going the way it was, where it was more taunt heavy, or did I want to play cards that could give me more tactical advantage, like cards that are choose one, Power of the Wild, Hidden Oasis. There's my Mulchmuncher, which I can play next turn because I've lost to Treants. So, make it a little harder for him. We're going to befriend the Ancient. On this one, we're going to be glad to trade these two. We're going to swing. And this way, if she wants to take the Ancient down, she's going to have to do it herself, which means she'll take 6 damage right to the face, unless she has Assassinate in her hand or an instant rogue kill spell. And nope, just another Chill Wind Yeti, which I'm not sure I'm seeing the whole, you know, this is great idea, but she's still taking 6 to the face. And let's see. We're going to pump up the cat, give it 4 health and taunt. Then we're going to summon a 3/2 Panther. And we're going to swing. So she now has 5 health. I have 29 with 1 armor, which technically puts me at 30 health total. And I've taken her down to 5 health. Oh no, I like the efficiency of this deck now. Yep, swing away, bro. And he's probably... Yep, going to swing directly at me. Okay, now if I draw into a pump spell... no, we're just going to do this. Now we have Treants. And it's unlikely that he's going to be able to kill all of those. Like, terribly unlikely. And if you guys like this deck so far, don't be afraid to shoot me out in the comments. You know, if you have any theories of, like, more efficient cards to get the job done, I'm more than willing to hear. Because I'm looking for the... We're on the quest for the Unbeatable Druid Deck. And that person gave up. Because at this point, there's really nothing she could do. Okay, I ranked up. And I got my Druid victory. So we're going to take a look and see at this deck here. So I can show you guys my thought process. Just a little. And then we're going to go back and do another game. So, Custom Druid. There we go. Okay. So the thought process was making this guy as cheap as possible through the Forest's aid and landscaping. I also have Witchwood Apple, which gives me 3 2/2 Treants to my hand, but it doesn't put them in the game, which still puts me behind the 8 ball in my opinion. So I kind of chose to forgo it. I mean, it's a nice card, but it doesn't really get the job done. And then, from there, since I know my job is to get Mulchmuncher out fast, I want to be around to draw the 2 cards. So I chose cards like Life Weaver. Whenever you restore health, add a random Druid to your hand. Druid of the Scythe. He's a transform, again a choose 1 card. Transform into a 4/2 with Rush or a 2/4 with Taunt, so I can either be aggressive or defensive. Then there's Ferocious Howl. This is new to me, and I spent some of my crafting points to get it done. And with it, I can draw a card and then gain 1 armor for each card in my hand. And then, let's see, we've discussed those. We've got Mark of Nature. Give a minion +4 attack or +4 health and taunt. Again, I can be offensive, defensive, whatever the deck calls for at the time. Then we've got Soul of the Forest. Give your minions Death Rattle, summon a 2/2 Treant. Let's say I get Forest's 8 out, so that's 5 2/2 Treants. I play Soul of the Forest. Now when each one of them dies, they summon 5 more Treants. And it just kind of builds from there. And at this point, the Mulchmuncher is basically free. And that was kind of my thought process, how to get a big creature out for practically nothing. And say once he's out, I pump him with Mark of the Wild. Give a minion taunt with +2/+2. Okay. So I like to do these games in kind of best 2 of 2. So right now we are 100% win rate. So let's keep that win rate. And if you'll see in the description of my previous video, I did say that I was aiming for a 100% win rate with this deck. And hopefully, after this, I'll still have that intact. But I reset the win rate, though, with each version of the deck. So the previous version had a 100% loss rate. This deck, I'm hoping to keep a 100% win rate. And we drew into Power of the Wild, Druid of the Scythe, Serpent Egg, and Landscaping. So we're going to keep that as is. I'm going to get a coin, which means my first move is going to be Serpent Egg. Ooh, I love your card backing. Okay, so she summons Mirror Images. Okay, so coin, Serpent Egg. Now, the only downside for them is eventually I'm going to pump this and they're going to have to kill it, which is going to give me a 3/4. There's no downside for me because I want them to go after it. Yep, nope, at me this time. And now, I'm going to save that. I'm going to armor myself up, because now I know she's willing to spend her mana to shoot fireballs at me. And on my next move, I'm actually thinking about taking Life Weaver out of the deck, just because I just kind of remembered I didn't put anything really healing in it. Perfect. Alright, so we're going to give him the +2/+2, or yeah, +2/+2. Pass the turn. Now my opponent's going to have to start taking this threat seriously. And she's going to have to spend a little bit of mana to do 5 damage to kill it off. And on my next turn, we're going to drop Landscaping, which will give me 2/2 Treants. Oh! Okay, so the first threat has been neutralized. So first we're going to kill that off. We're going to drop the 2/2 Treants and the turn. This is the unspoken hero of my deck right here we just drew into. Gloop Sprayer. Summon a copy of each adjacent minion. Let's say I get my 2 Mulchmunchers out and I need more. Gloop Sprayer will shoot out 2 more Mulchmunchers. So they're 8/8 minions, and there he is, Speak of the Devil. An 8/8 minion with Rush. So he will spit out 2 more if I have 2 in play. Alright, and for this, we're going to... I want him to draw as few cards as humanly possible off from that. So we're going to do that. We're going to summon a 3/2 Panther. And I realize I'm kind of setting myself up for like a massive board wipe. But in the grand scheme of things, I think I can take a hit. But just in case, I'm going to pump up one of my creatures with Mark of Nature just to make it so that they might actually survive his boomstick. Okay, another Acolyte of Pain. Okay, so we're going to actually pump the cat. And we're going to trade this. I'm going to armor up. Okay. Ice Barrier. Nope, Flame Ward. And I'm glad my cat survived the hit, passed the turn. Now, being as I'm pretty familiar with the deck, I can generally tell when he's trying to lure me in, and by playing the Acolyte of Pain over here, he was pretty much just saying, come at me, bro. Okay, so I'm not going to play that because that's just going to make that stronger. I am, however, going to summon Ironhide Defender. Oh, Direhorn, I'm sorry. Ironhide Direhorn. And then on my next move, we're going to drop in Mulchmuncher. And then from there, we're going to try and build into Gloop Sprayer, which will double these two. And from there, it's all downhill. Now I want to start causing the Direhorn to start spitting out his 5/5 Ironhides. So what we're going to do next is probably swipe her so that the overkill takes effect. Unless, of course, she blows it up. Okay, she's got answers to all my problems. Okay. We're going to drop Mulchmuncher since he has Rush. We're going to kill that. Leaving him as an 8/6. I really didn't want to play it so early, but at the same time, now kind of desperate measures since she's wasted Fire Blast and Fireballs to kill my minions. And pretty sure it's like her third Fireball, but I might be wrong. Okay, if you control a secret, deal 6 damage. You didn't control a secret. Yeah, we're going to drop this. Summon a 6/6. Then we're going to Life Weaver, pass the turn. Now she has 10 mana, so it wouldn't be hard for her to drop the bigger spell, which would deal 10 damage to me. King Pharaohs, huh? What did you just do? For each spell in your hand, summon a random minion of the same cost. Okay, of course you got Varian, Faithful Lumi, and Ancient of War. Oof. Come on. Swing away, buddy. Okay. First thing we're going to do... she would just copy that, so... we're going to do that. And... we're going to pump her up. Along with this here.
Take your medicine.
And... yeah, I will gladly trade for your Varian Wren. Leaving me with a 2/2 Treant. And yeah, you're going to Frostbolt me. That's okay, though, because I get the 2/2 Treant off from it. And she gets a random mage spell added to her hand. It was probably a secret. Okay. Ouch. That'll work. I'm going to armor up. And swing at her. Pass the turn. And now I have 5 2/2 Treants, which means when they die, the Mulchmuncher will basically be 100% free at that point. And I'm not going to play him to copy those just because it's not really worth it. And now that they're dead, that just made my Mulchmuncher, like I said, 100% free at this point. Perfect. Okay. We're going to drop this. I'm going to armor up. Swing at her, pass the turn. Now, at this point, we're entering basically the negatives on the Mulchmuncher, so we're not too worried about being able to play him. I just took 5 to the face. And there it is. Okay, so this deck is no longer a 100% win. It is now a 50-50. Which isn't too bad. And on the next stream, I will be covering in depth, if I can speak right tonight, a upgrade of the current strategy, which is sticking, like I said, to the Mulchmuncher and choose one cards. And this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If you like the content I'm doing, hey, shoot me a subscribe, hit the notification button, get a little ding when I go live. And as always, if you guys like what I'm doing, hit me up in the comments, give me some strategies, or even a deck you guys would like to see done. And who knows, I may shoot it up in the next video, but I'll definitely respond and give you guys a shout out. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.